What is happening, Magnacites? Whoo! This juice fast is kicking my ass. But I will tell y'all about that in my update video today. So when I was going through my comments the other day, I realized that there were people that were suffering from sleep apnea. And this was the video when I was talking about how I beat my tinnitus. This point in time, my tinnitus is like I said, it's like a 0.5. It's not even a 1 on a 1 to 10 scale of bad. You know, how bad is it? A 1? No, it's like a 0.5. I can hardly hear it at all. And some days it absolutely disappears. And I've noticed during this fast, it has definitely disappeared at times. So something's up with this. This fast is helping. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about sleep apnea. And a lot of you suffer from sleep apnea. So I'm going to tell you my story and how I beat it. There's 2 types of sleep apnea from what I understand. One has to do with your weight. If you're overweight, you start to snore. Also, snoring can be caused by the position you're sleeping in. But I've met people that were starting to gain weight that was snoring while they were awake. You sitting there watching TV with them and they're like, I'm sitting there like, yo, do you know that you're snoring right now? Like, I heard comedians make jokes about that, but I'd never seen it. Well, I saw it. 2 people I know. Okay? So, there's that one. Starts to cut off your airflow. A lot of people get those, I think they call them CPAP machines. And I had a friend that actually had that. He had to deal with that. And then the second one is stress-induced sleep apnea. Guess which one I've got? Or had. Okay? I started to notice this years ago when I lived in the studio apartment, still making videos. I know sometimes when I would try to do water fasts, remember, fasting puts a certain amount of stress on the body. So if you're already in a state of stress, a water or juice fast can actually make things worse, depending on where you are at. Sometimes they make things better. So I noticed there were a few times back then where I never told y'all, but I was doing fasts. You know what I mean? And I would notice maybe 5 days in, I would start to wake up. And I couldn't understand why. And the longer I would go into the fast, it would happen more, like 2-3 times a night. And I was like, I can't believe that this fast is causing the sleep apnea with me. What is going on here? Never did nothing about it. I just would fast for a few days and then I would eat. So I don't fast often. So it happened to me maybe twice in the 5 or 6 years that I was there. When I moved here, I would say a year after I moved here, I started to get stressed out by a lot of personal things. And I was not fasting, okay, when this happened. But that was my first experience with sleep apnea. You see what I'm saying? So I had mild stress then, but didn't really realize it. And then on top of that, I had the water fasts. You don't want to water fast or fast period when you're in a hyper stress state. You don't want to, or even medium stress. You want to be as stress-free as possible because it's a time of healing. So anyway, I had some things on my mind that were worrying me, and I started to wake up 3, 4, 5, 6 times a night. I mean, waking up blurry vision, thinking my heart stopped, feeling like I was having a heart attack, afraid to go back to sleep because I didn't know what was happening to me. It got so bad that it got to the point where my left arm started to get numb a couple of times. Went to the doctors, got checked out. Said nothing's wrong with you. You're fine. Your heart's fine. Your heart's healthy. No sign of heart attack. No sign of nothing. So, and I wasn't overweight then either. So I eventually started to see this doctor to help me out just with everything because I knew he would know what to do. And you met him, Dr. Sean, Nutritional Wellness Center, 1 Cinnaminson Avenue, Palmyra, New Jersey. Tell him Tyrone Magnus sent you. All right. He helped me get better. He told me, I want you to start standing on the earth, bare feet, on grass, every day for a half hour. This will heal you. And I was like, seriously? But I wouldn't, you know me, I was already into health, but no one had never told me that before. So I was like, all right. I was a desperate man at that time. As soon as the sun would start to go down, I would start to get afraid to go to sleep. That's right. Magnus was afraid. It happens. You know what I mean? Everybody's afraid of something. So, I'll never forget, I went and I put a towel out in the park, took off my shoes, sat on the towel, put my feet on the grass, and I sat there. And around 15 minutes in, I started to feel really calm. And I was like, whoa, wait, I've never felt nothing like this before. You may not feel it if you feel good for the most part and you walk bare feet all the time. But if you're someone that's stressed out, you're going to feel this difference. It calms people. The earth has electrons to give to you. Negative electrons. Okay? That's what seawater has. That's why you feel so, one of the reasons you feel so good when you go to the beach. All right? When you're on a cruise. Breathing in all that air. So that night, I ended up only waking up once. Yeah, with the sleep apnea. I was like, oh my God, this is working. So I started standing on the earth longer than that. Just going and sitting. You know what I mean? So as the months started to get a little colder or it would be wet outside, I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do? Well, I read about grounding, and it's called grounding, okay? What you need to do is you need to stand on concrete, okay, cement, grass, dirt, sand, not blacktop. Blacktop is petroleum based and it does not conduct the electrons. So you can stand on all of those things and ground yourself. That got rid of it for me. But also, because I couldn't go outside, well, at least I didn't want to when it was raining or wet or cold, I found out that they sell grounding pads. Now, the one that I use is called Kiss the Earth, I believe. And they sell 2 in a box with also 2 wristbands that come with it. And what it does is it plugs into your wall. You know how your socket looks like this? That's where you plug it in. Boop. You plug it in there, all right? Not in the eyes, in the mouth. You plug it in the mouth into the grounding port of your wall. And you plug that wire into it and it runs to the grounding pad. Many of you that really pay attention to my videos, you've seen my grounding pad underneath my keyboard. That's my way of grounding myself while I'm making videos. I take this thing with me everywhere. I took it with me. Remember when I went on the cruise? I was having sleep apnea then, but I had my grounding pad. And I took it everywhere. If I was staying at any hotels, if I was on a cruise, if I was anywhere but my house and I knew I was going to be sleeping, I took it with me. I sat on it when I gamed, everything. I always had it with me so I could ground myself, because most of our houses have a rod in the ground that grounds the circuitry and the electrons come up through that. So when you plug it in, you're able to take advantage of that. And I have not had any sleep apnea whatsoever, except for once or twice when some major things happened. It was almost like the the pad couldn't help the amount of stress that I was under. But I only woke up once or twice in the night. I was still good. No more, you know what I mean, numb arm, thinking I'm having a heart attack, all that stuff. I'll post a link for the one that I use. You can get it from Amazon. There's something else I wanted to say about that, though. My aunt has multiple sclerosis. Okay? She has an extremely hard time walking. Her teeth have fallen out. She is not who she was. She is a mere shell of who she used to be. And I bought her a grounding pad. And I said, Auntie, I want you to try this. She could not walk without her walker at all. I had her sit for a half hour and put her feet on the grounding pad. She told me she started to feel some tingling in her feet. Later on, she told me that the tingling moved from her feet to her knees. Later on, she told me it moved from her feet to her knees to her thighs. So I looked it up. What's the tingling? It didn't happen to me when I started using it. Some people apparently start to feel tingling. They can feel the energy. And also, it means that it's increasing the circulation in that particular body part. Well, it happened for her. And as soon as she was done, guess what? She could walk without the walker. Yeah, there is something to living naturally. There is something about our earth that is powerful, that is healing. And I remember seeing a documentary on grounding. He said he was living with some Native Americans, and he heard the mother of a child say, "Take your shoes off before you go in the tent because they'll make you sick." And that kind of intrigued him, kind of helped set him on his path to understanding what she meant and speaking to them about the earth and all that stuff and understanding. Yes, we do shut ourselves off from nature. That's one reason why you feel great when you walk in nature. There's free electrons out there, negative electrons for you given off from the earth and the grass, the trees, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's how I beat my sleep apnea. I don't deal with it anymore. I'm good. And as a matter of fact, sometimes there's weeks that I sleep without it. And, yeah. I'm going to tell you about something else that I have, too, that has increased my strength 50%. But that's another video. 10 million subscribers. Woo!